Hello, it's Ellen again. You can see on my picture that I've built up some of the layers, and I've built up some of this green area, these green areas around the cup, just making them a bit more clear. I've also painted in the text on the book. Really, that was all about drawing and observing. Once I'd drawn the letters, all I had to then do was to paint the colour in. So that's obviously something that's a complete personal choice. And if you don't feel like doing text, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple more things. This is obviously quite a long way off from being finished, but I'm going to show you a couple of things, and then I'll show you the final piece later on in the week. Okay, so what I was going to do was I was going to work on the face here, and I was going to make a pale skin colour. So take a little bit of water, and as I said before, start to make almost an orangey peachy colour. So I'm taking some cadmium red here and some yellow, as if you were making orange, but what you have to do is you have to put a higher ratio of red than you have yellow in your colour. If you put a higher ratio of yellow, it will go orange. If you have a higher ratio of red, it will go peach. We don't really want pink. Pink is not great, and you can put a little bit of blue in just to knock it back and not make it too bright. Okay, it's quite hard to see what you've got when you're in your palette, so it's better to paint it on your paper and see if that's what you want, and that's okay. Quite happy with that. So all the green area around the face has dried, so I'm happy to go ahead and put the this colour onto the face. Now it's quite light, and what I want to do is I want to do one colour over the whole face. So I'm going to water it down. I'm going to have an edge where the green is. The light is hitting the nose and the face quite high up, and then there's shadows underneath. So I'm going to make this paler. I'm going to drag my paint down so I have one uniform colour, and then when it dries, I'm going to come back and I'm going to put the shadows in underneath. Quite a predominant shadow under the chin. Use a little bit of water to join those up. If you can do an area in one go in watercolour, that is a massive bonus, because then you don't get any hard edges, you don't have mismatched patches in your colour. That really is the ideal if you can, but if you get good at patching it up, it doesn't matter. As long as you can put water between your two areas and kind of join up any edges, usually that does as well. But as you see, I'm putting that one layer down wet like that, and that's my first layer of skin colour done. Okay, so while I'm waiting for this to dry, I'm going to go to a different colour, different area of the picture, and I'm going to make a grey, and I'm going to put some definition into the cup and put some shadows into the cup. So I've got my peachy colour, which I can turn into brown. So I've got more, make my sort of orange stronger. That's the nice thing with watercolour, you can recycle your colours. If you know that peach, orange and brown are all in the same family of colours, then all you have to do is change how muddy you make that colour and how diluted you make that colour. And you can just slide up and down that colour family as much as you like. Okay, they're starting to go a bit browner, which is good. There we go, nice deep brown. I'm quite happy with that. So I'm making a grey, so I take my brown, put it in there, so I want to keep some brown. In this new area, I'm going to make grey, and then I add the darker blue to the brown. Far too much blue, but that's okay. Just put more brown in. Stir it in. Oh, it's starting to look a bit green. I'm going to warm it up, put a little bit of red in there. And as you can see, it goes straight back to brown. A little bit more blue. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, that's a bit green. So I'm going to put a little bit more red in it. So again, I'm using my opposite colours. If you get two opposite colours, whether it be yellow and purple or orange and blue or red and green, those pairs, if you end up putting them together, they will make a brown or a grey, because those opposite colours are all about making your colours muddy. And if you put the most of both in, then it turns into this grey or this brown, much more natural looking grey or brown. There we go. Happy with that. Right then, okay, so now I've got my grey, I can water it down. So I don't want it dark, I want to again build up in layers. Okay, I've got some here. Now I want to keep the rim of the cup white and I want to keep it clean. So I'm going to stay away from that. I'm not going to put any water or any paint on that area at all. And I'm going to sweep it around in the shadow of the cup there. You look, I'm holding my paintbrush quite low down, quite far away from the bristles. I'm using light marks, and I find that is the easiest thing to do, easiest way to hold my brush to get the very subtle differences. Now I'm trying to fade my dark area out here because it's coming round to light. And I'm going to drop a little bit more grey into this top area here, too little. Okay, it looks a little bit heavy. That's alright. Squeezed my brush out, picked up at the side, try and get that edge, keep that edge nice, and then I can then spread that further round. And I'm going to keep it like that. See how it dries, because I can always put another layer on later. Okay, so I'm going to go for the handle. So obviously this part of the handle is bright white because it's the same, it's being hit by the same amount of light as the rim, but the handle underneath is in shadow. So I'm going to get the edge of the rim there and then get the edge of the handle as well, like that. And then I'm going to take some water and I'm going to soften the edge and make it paler as I go out to the edge of the handle, like that. And I'm probably going to square up, get a little bit of green, so it's irritating me. A little bit of green and just square up the edge a little bit like that, just so the handle makes a bit more sense and you can see the shapes coming out clearly. The clearer your shapes are, the clearer it is to read when somebody's looking at your picture. And because that's a bit pale, because I've moved paint around, I'm just going to dot a little bit more in like that. Okay, so I've got my darker area of brown in the hot chocolate, and I'm going to take some brown that I've already made, which is lovely, we like that. I'm going to lay that on top of this second layer here. So this side's kind of lighter. I'm just dabbing, just give some variation in the colour. And then as a shadow towards the back, I get a little bit of grey. Like I said, this grey is great because you can lay it on top of anything and the colour underneath will shine through, but it will create a shadow on top. What we don't want is any spots and dots of colour really. I want a nice even coverage. So yeah, just move it into the places where you want it. If you wanted to, you could put another layer of a pale brown if you think the contrast is too big. I might have, actually, I'm going to use a little bit of the yellow ochre and mix it with a little bit of the pale brown, and then I could, if I wanted to, I could just lay it on the colour like this. Lots of mistake fixing today. Feather that in like that. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Maybe look a bit in more. Just don't like large white areas. The brain gets bored of large areas that's all the same colour. So I'm just breaking it up, and then I'm going to soften that there. And you can play with it as much or as little as you like as you go. Okay, let's have a look at this skin tone. Yep, the skin tone is dry, so that's good. And just going to think about putting another layer on there. Now I have got a bit of brown where I had my skin colour, that's fine. I'm going to go a little bit darker. Oops. So what we do with skin colour is, well, with all the colours, is we just gently build them up, build them up. That might be a little bit red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to spread it. It's a bit intense to start with. So instead of changing and thinking, oh my god, it's a disaster, you just add some water and spread it out like that. Now, you don't want a hard edge here. This poor lady will have a square chin or square jaw. It's not very attractive. So soften it with some water. Now the lips is all about colour. It's not darker, it's not lighter really. It's different colour for the lips. Pinker colour. So you can start to drop the colours in and take out the unattractive big blobs. But do you see how subtle I'm being? It's all about light and dark and slight change of colour. No hard edges. There's no lines around the mouth really. It's all colour. I'm going to soften that line there. The only lines you might have are maybe shadows. Okay. So I've got my ready browny colour, and I'm going to start putting in a shadow under the nose. Now, because of this handy shadow, don't have to put in lots of details like nostrils and things like that. You just need to have a bit of a curve at the end. Like that, and then again you just soften the inside. Soften those lines away like that, and you build up, build up, build up until you get the density of colour that you want. Okay, so I think I'm going to go back with a little bit of grey and have a look at the cup again. Okay, so this grey is looking nice. I'm quite happy with that. If you want to, you can just reconfirm where the edge of the rim is, like that, with a little bit of definition. but then also soften anything, lighten anything that you're not happy with, like that. Okay, so that's how you keep playing, you keep building up all your different areas until you get really intense layers down to here. I think down here even still wants another layer of colour. Okay, oh, I was going to show you and I forgot. The little bubbles in the hot chocolate, has it dried? Yes. Okay, so what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to have a finer brush. So I'm taking my dark brown, and what I'm going to do is I'm holding my arm to keep it steady, and I'm going to drop, dab, 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 around the bubbles. Just one side, and it gives you the shadows of the bubbles, and it gives you the highlights of the bubbles. Kind of a group of 3 here, and there's sort of a shadow behind it. And if you dab around the circles for the bubbles, you start to get those shadows and shapes that you want. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll show you the picture later on. But yes, just a case of mixing the right colours and then building your layers up, aiming for about 4 layers of each. Good luck everyone, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.